Hi guys, me Mr. T here, getting ready for my summer adventure. Let's see, I've got my snacks, I've got some cash, and some clothes. All set, right? Well, maybe I need at least one more thing. Courage. So the question you may be thinking is, Mr. T, where do we get courage from? Do I order it off of Amazon or Walmart? Not exactly. But I do have some suggestions that will help you find it. These suggestions come from 3 books that I read recently. The Someday Birds by Sally J. Plow. Me, Moth by Amber McBride. And Black Girl Unlimited, The Remarkable Story of a Teenage Wizard by Echo Brown. The Someday Birds is the story of a family of 6. Davis, a 15-year-old girl, her 3 brothers, Charlie, Jake, and Joel, their father, and their grandmother, who they call Gram. When their father is moved from a hospital in California to a hospital with more specialists in Virginia, Graham sends a friend to keep an eye on the kids. Ludmilla appears to have a rough exterior. She wears a dog collar, and she has a thick accent the kids don't recognize. We later learn that she grew up in Sarajevo, came to the United States as a refugee. Not really trusting the new caretaker, Davis hatches a plan to take her brothers cross country to see their father, also with the help of her boyfriend, Jonathan Dylan Daniels, who happens to own a car. The only challenge is that her younger brother Charlie doesn't like change. He likes everything neat, tidy, and orderly, and he struggles with obsessive compulsive disorder. Washes his hands frequently and a lot. These are all challenges if you're on a road trip. And he doesn't trust Jonathan Dylan Daniels either. The trip, however, goes surprisingly smoothly until Jonathan Dylan Daniels crashes the car. He and Davis get in a fight. She breaks up with him, and he abandons them there right in Las Vegas. When all hope seems lost, Ludmilla shows up to take him the rest of the way. Along the way, the group encounters a number of adventures, including getting chased by bison, and Charlie trudging through a dirty swamp in search of a possibly extinct bird and a famous ornithologist. We see 3 examples of courage in this book. Charlie takes on new activities like going to a water park. He's never ridden a ride in his life. Going places that would make him dirty, like trudging through the marsh. Davis is courageous as she learns to trust Ludmilla and look beyond the rough exterior. Ludmilla finds the courage to move to an unfamiliar place, make new friends, and share her life with the kids. You may sometime have to summon courage yourself, to courage like Davis to trust, Ludmilla to share, or Charlie to try something new. Don't be afraid to get dirty. It'll be worth it in the long run. If the Someday Birds looks interesting to you, you should check it out from the Wayne County Public Library, or you can get it on Amazon or the Scribd app. Me, Moth starts off with a memory of a road trip. A tragic one, unfortunately, where the car broke in half. Moth is the only survivor of the accident. Now, Moth's aunt had prayed and prayed that Moth's mother and father and brother would survive, but as Moth says, her prayers were only big enough for one survivor. Now Moth is shipped up to Virginia to live with that same aunt. She finds herself in a strange new place and, well, for all intents and purposes, alone. Her aunt doesn't want to talk to her because she doesn't want to be reminded of the accident. While in her junior year of school, Moth meets Sonny, the boy with the waterfall hair, who's Native American just like her. That's important to her because she doesn't feel like she fits in with anyone. The two form a friendship, and in the meantime, Moth's aunt can no longer handle the memory of the tragedy, and she abandons Moth. On the other hand, Sonny is drawn to Moth. He feels that she's safe. He can hide from his abusive stepfather with her, and the two of them decide to go on a summer road trip from Virginia to New Mexico, where he hopes to talk to his biological father and convince him to let him live with him. Along the way, they make several stops, such as the Natural Bridge in North Carolina, and also some Civil War battlefields and tourist stops and places of interest. Of course, they find other detours along the way, such as a swimming hole. At each stop, Moth makes an offering to the ancestors, as is the tradition she had learned from her beloved gray-bearded grandfather, who had passed away years ago. She and Sonny have conversations about the Native American traditions they learned about growing up, and medicine and healing, as Sonny's grandfather was a medicine man. This book is a good tool to help you learn courage because Moth overcomes a lot. She has to cope with the loss of her family as well as the guilt of being the only one that survived. She has to find the courage to carry on where her aunt had failed to. She and Sonny find the strength and the courage to heal. The two of them have to heal from the pain of rejection, among other things. Lastly, Sonny finds the courage to approach his biological father, who had made it pretty clear that he had no place in his life for his son. Healing, like a road trip, is sometimes long. It requires some vulnerability, some courage to be vulnerable. It requires courage to forgive others, and sometimes yourself. It can be a difficult task. If you think that this book can help you in your healing journey, I recommend you check it out from the Wayne County Public Library, Amazon, or the Script app. Black Girl Unlimited is written in an autobiographical sense. It's a story of a young wizard, and it's filled with both hope and despair. The story starts out with a young girl named Echo who watches her mother, who is passed out on the bathroom floor, as the apartment burns. Her father, who is described as being drunk at the time and often, rushes into the apartment and carries Echo, her mom, and her brothers to safety. The fire is followed by another traumatic event after a spades party, where the adults pray to the white crystals in the bathroom. Echo's mom tries to kill her husband for cheating. This time, Echo sees time freeze. She begins to experience life as a wizard. Her mother, when she realizes what is happening to her, her daughter breaks down and cries she didn't want no children, no girl children, because doesn't want them to be wizards like her. It was a difficult life for her. Echo's mom is one of her guides, and as she learns wizard lessons. Lessons like how to build a shell, how to freeze time, and how to conjure the ancestors. Echo's story is full of traumatic events. She is abused physically, emotionally, and sexually. Her mother abuses drugs and nearly dies. And her mother also nearly kills her husband and was sentenced in prison when she was a youth for killing her own mother. Her brothers sell drugs, and one of them serves time in prison for it. Her best friend becomes paralyzed after getting hit by a car. Lastly, she herself almost goes to the hereafter and had to be called back by a ceremony performed by wizards. But amongst the despair, there is hope. Echo finds friends and other wizards to help her understand the crazy world around her. She performs a life changing miracle by conjuring the voice of her ancestors and getting them to speak to her brothers. It's experiences like this that change the trajectory of their wayward paths. She is also taken in by a kind older wizard named Mrs. Delaney, who also happens to be Echo's English teacher. Mrs. Delaney and her husband help Echo prepare for college, and because of her good grades, she finds herself accepted into every college she applies to, including some Ivy League universities. Echo finds the courage to fight when giving up seems easy. She finds the courage to be herself even when her success makes her unpopular. Her mom finds the courage to fight, to leave the hereafter and return back to the normal plane of Earth. Echo finds the courage to look for the best in people. Jesse, who suffers from the car accident, finds the courage to make art and to find the positive in people as well. If you think this book will help you find your inner courage and strength, you can find it on the Libby app or the Scribd app. I just want to say that no matter whatever adventure you find yourself on, you'll find unexpected challenges. But hopefully, these books will give you the examples of people who have had to overcome many challenges, and knowing they can be courageous will help you do the same. Good luck on all of your journeys and adventures.